Hello, my name is Dr. Alexander Lee. I am the coordinator of voice studies at Marshall University, and I am also opera director at there. I am also music director of Pierre United Methodist Church, vice president of the Tri-State chapter. To celebrate the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, which is current month May, I would like to introduce you some of Korean culture and the Korean music that influenced from United States. As a proud Korean American, this is such a privilege to teach music to my Marshall University students and in West Virginia because the music, I believe, is the best form to share the culture and introduce the culture without the huge bumps. So I would like to give you some opportunity to understand the Korean culture and some beauty and the aesthetic part of Korean music. So the first thing that you may think of Korean music these days will be probably this K-pop. These days, the K-pop is very famous all around the world, including United States. The singers like BTS or Psy, the Gangnam Style was quite sensational thing a few years ago. But the things I would like to talk about today is before K-pop, which is the Korean traditional music. In Korean, this is pronounced Kukoc. So Kukoc means the national music. This term specifically indicates the traditional music and the traditional instrumental music. The funny part of Korean traditional music is that we only use five notes. In classical music or Western music, there is a 12 tones, but and in Korea and the Asian country also have 12 tones. But the thing is, we only use five notes. So those five notes are called Hwang, Tae, Jung, Im, Nam. So these five notes are only used in Korean traditional music, and that's the characteristic of the Korean music. Oddly, this is a common practice not only in Korea. This is all around the world. So most traditional folk tunes, folk songs use only these five notes. So these five notes called pentatonic scale, and if I just play it for you, 황태중임남. That's the all the five notes that Korean music has. That's it. And just like the classical music in classical or the commercial music in Western culture, the United States and the European country, we also have the major and the minor scale. So if I play the major scale in C in the classical or commercial music in Western culture, it will be. This is a major scale. You probably heard it before, right? And that this is the minor scale. There's a natural minor. I mean, there's a lot of. If we talk about like very details, then there's a lot of stuff so we can cover. But let's make it simple. So this is the major scale and the minor scale. You can hear from Western classical music or commercial music. On the other hand, in Korea, this is the major scale. In classical music, or in according to the analysis theory, this is often called the blues major pentatonic. But this is the only major scale that South Korea has in Korean traditional music. And as I mentioned before, we have only five notes in major scale, and in minor scale, we have only three notes. So that's it, three notes. And this is the every notes that we have in minor scale. Nam, and that's it. And so major scale in Korean called Pyeongjo, and minor scale in Korean called Gaemyeonjo. So I had a great opportunity to go to the South Korea 2 years ago, with the support from the Marshall University. And the reason I decided to study South Korea, the Korean music, is that I began to feel very bad because I even hold the doctorate degree in classical music, but I do not have a lot of knowledge of my own country's music. I was born in United States. In Philadelphia, but when I was 2 years old, I went to South Korea and I spent most of my life in South Korea. I even served 2 years as a military soldier in South Korea, and I came back to United States in 2011. It's almost my 10th year at here. Um, but even though I grew up in my own country, in South Korea, I really do not have a lot of information about the Korean music, so I began to feel bad about it, and I thought probably I can adjust to some of Koreans' own aesthetic beauty in music to the classical music. I began to wonder probably there will be possibility that I can combine these two together. As a proud Korean American, I began to feel that that's the thing that I can do much better than the others. The first thing that I learned is that there's only five notes. Then, is there really a lot of things that I can work on it? Because five notes doesn't sound like, you know, enough. Um, five notes. That's it. Is it really worth it? I begin to hear some of the traditional music, and it all sounds much more complicated, and also it has its own beauty. It's only five notes. Why it is sounds very unique, and why it sounds so special. And I began to study with the Korean traditional music teachers, and what I learned is that all the five notes has its own performance practice. So the tonic notes, the most bottom note, Hwang. This note is Yosong, so this must be shaked or warbled. So ah 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 ah. It must be not like equal vibrato or straight tone. It must be warbled, and that was very shocking thing to me because as a trained classical music singer, warbled sound and the shaking sound is not good technique. But authentic Korean traditional music requires the singers and the instrumental players to make the hwang note warbled. So that's why it sounds so different, and it has its own unique beauty that I couldn't find from uh, Western classical and the Western commercial music. So that was the hwang and the tae. This is 퇴성. So 퇴성 means that this tae notes, when tae goes to the hwang, it must be glide. So what I'm saying is that ah, instead of the step, it must be ah ah, and also hwang, since this is a warble note. Ah, so it already sounds very different. Only two notes, but sounds very different, and that's the thing that I never experienced in my life in my classical music learning and the teaching experience. Wow, that's very interesting. Next note is Jung. So this is this note. This is a Pyeongsong. Pyeongsong means you must make straight tone. So you cannot do the It must be ah always. So 평성, this note must be straight tone. No warble, no shaking, no gliding, straight tone. The fourth note is im. Im is also must be 퇴성. So when this note to this note, im to 중, it must be ah ah. Instead of this ah, it must be glide. And also since 평성 must be straight tone, ah instead of that ah, it must be straight tone. I cannot sing very loud because actually my kid is having a nap, so please excuse me. So the last note is the nam. Nam doesn't has a special characteristic, and so those are the all five notes. But since these all five notes is only five notes, but it has its own characteristic, it sounds very distinctive and also sounds very very special. So that was really interesting, and I began to really fall in love in Korean music. So if I show you how it would look like in score, if I try to transcribe it in five-line notation to classical or commercial music, this is how it will look like. So Hwang, the red square, will be ah 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 it shouldn't be like too tuned. You know what I mean? So it must be like somehow a little bit off from the tonal center. Not ah instead of ah. This note itself has to exist from this wide shaking and the warble. Um, that's amazing thing. Te, the second note. And the F, this jung, must be straight tone. I put the straight line the right side of the notes, if you can see it. And im to jung must be instead of instead of the step. This is the correct performance practice to sing Korean traditional music. So here is a score of Arirang. This is in the major scale, so it has a five notes. This is specifically this is called the Gyeonggi Arirang. The Arirang from Gyeonggi region is around the capital of South Korea, Seoul, and as you can see, it has only five notes. In Western classical or commercial music standard, it has only C, D, F, G, and A. Do, re, fa, sol, la. That's it. There's five notes. Done. To make it a little more easier, I wrote down some of the marks on the score. So C, which is the Hwang, has this warble note, and the F has a straight line right side of the note, so that I can remind you this is a straight tone. So don't make any vibrato or warble. And the G to F, D to C, I put this gliding sign so that you don't go to the step to step. You can always glide it. So this is the example of major scale, which is the 평조 in Korean music. 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를
가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병 난다.
The next example is the one of the minor scale song. This is the 파랑새, often also known as a 세야 세야. In English translation, the title of this music is Bluebird. And the minor scale, as I said before, it has only 3 notes. I didn't lie, it has only 3 notes. Please watch the score together. And only 3 notes. So these 3 notes is all you need to sing this Kemyeonjo, the minor scale Korean traditional song.
새야 새야 파랑새야 녹두밭에 앉지 마라 녹두꽃이 떨어지면 청포장수 울고 간다.
So I was thinking about what if I try to sing American traditional music with Korean traditional performance practice. This will sound very weird, but I think this is the one thing that I can try as a Korean American. I'm not trying to say this is better than the original way. You'll probably sound very weird, but the 파랑새 and the Arirang, the Korean traditional song, is very familiar to me, but it is not familiar song for you. So I try to show you how this Korean performance practice would sound if you hear in the tune that you're familiar with. As I mentioned it before, many folk songs in all around the world also written in pentatonic, which has only 5 notes. And as you can see, the Amazing Grace has only 5 notes too. Only 5 notes from top to the end. So this begins to make me think that we all look different. Our skin color is different, definitely. The hair color is different. Mine is very black, as you can see. But inside of different race, inside their heart, probably the core part of the human beings are probably pretty same, because the Asian country and the Western European country, the North America, South America, the distance between these countries are enormous. And back then, people even had an airplane, even didn't had a decent ship that they can travel. But even a couple thousand years ago or a few hundred years ago, the most folk tunes has the same system, which is the pentatonic. To us, is Korean scale, but this is very fascinating and made me remind me my cred that all human being inside of their body, inside of their heart, are all the same. So get back to Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved the wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Now let's learn, and let me introduce you to Korean traditional music's rhythm. The first symbol, the circle with a stick, this this mark, it means that you hit the changu, the Korean traditional instrument, the left side and the right side at the same time, and that is we pronounce it a tong. The tok hit the right side. The stick symbol is only the right hit the right side of the drum, and the kung, the only circle without stick, is just hit the left, and we pronounce it as a kung. And the kidok look like an eye. The kidok is you hit the right side twice, kidok. And torororo, that is hit right 4 times, torororo. And da is you hit the center of the right. So we have these 6 symbols to indicate and show the Korean traditional rhythm. So this is the rhythmic pattern of Korean traditional music. So 중몰이, 자진몰이, 휘몰이, 세마치, 굿거리. These 5 are most famous and the most common Korean traditional music's rhythmic pattern. And 중몰이 to 휘몰이, the first 3, it is designed for the folk song pansori, and the last 2 is usually used for the dance. So let's try this pattern together. The sound that I'm going to use is the set drum. This is not Korean traditional instrument sound, but I think you will get some idea. This is my left, and this is my right. We will try the 중몰이 장단, which is the top rhythmic pattern. Each square, each small square indicates the one beat. 덩, 더, 쿵, 더, 쿵, 쿵, 더, 쿵, 더, 더. That's the 중몰이 장단, the first rhythmic pattern. And let's try it together. So from where you are, you can tap the circle things with your left hand, and you can tap the stick thing with your right hand. So let's try it together. You can tap the desk, you can tap your lap. We'll just try it together. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Da, 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 da. One more time. Da, 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 da. That's it. So you just mastered the 중몰이 장단, which is one of the most famous and the most popular Korean traditional rhythmic pattern. Congratulations. You're almost half Korean right now. So now let's move to the next one. Now, since we already kind of had an experience to sing Amazing Grace in Korean traditional performance practice, why not try the rhythm too? Also, oddly, most folk songs all around the world written in triple meter. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Somehow, I don't know why. Again, maybe inside the heart, even though the skin, hair is different, but maybe inside the same from the beginning. Anyway, let's try the Amazing Grace with the Korean traditional rhythm, which is the jungmori. So I wrote down this jungmori rhythm right here, so you can try it with me. Ready? So if you are so shy to try this tap of your lab, tapping a lab or desk is very hard, then maybe you can sing. And if singing is not my thing, oh, I don't want to sing, then probably you can do this drum. If you're so talented so you can do both, then why don't you try singing and do the rhythming? Ready? One, two. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. What about that? So this is the tune that you already know. You have a song for and heard this song many, many times, countless. But does it sound a little different? Was it fun? Um, Again, I'm not. I do not think this is the better than the original way. But if you like to cook, sometimes you try some special spice on your food and try. And you sometimes like say, "Ooh, I really don't like it. I'll never gonna try." Or sometimes, actually, this is kind of happy surprise. Oh, it tastes good. I'm gonna try this way a few more times. After COVID-19, I'll try this recipe, something like that, right? So I hope again, just try to make it sure. I don't think this is the better way than the original way, but this is just a fun way to make an experiment. And if you liked it, then it's good. It's good. You just have one more way to sing this beautiful song. Still, this is one of my favorite. So from hundreds of years ago, United States helped South Korea um, for a long time. Actually, back then it was not Korea; it was Joseon Dynasty. The Korea was not divided to the north and south. And Homer Hulbert, he is the American missionary and the political activities who advocated for the independence of Korea from Japan. So the whole Korea, North and South, um, owe him a lot. And not only for that, actually, he is the first person who transcribed the Korean traditional music and score. Unfortunately, in Korea, the music was not is not considered as an important part of culture. So nobody actually wrote the music in the paper. There was no such a record in score or in any form. There was no such a big history in Korean music, but he transcribed the Arirang that he heard so many times while he was visiting South Korea and worked for the South Korea, and it became the first transcribed Arirang in Korean history, and somehow we many of us did not remember this tune because that's kind of the pitfall of folk song, traditional folk song, because once people is not begin to sing this song, then people forget. But the thing is that since he wrote down the score in his note, it became the first the transcribed arirang that Korea has, and that we could have almost lost this song, but because of Mr. Hulbert, he only not try to save the country, he saved the cultural parts of Korean music too. And this history really inspired me. So I arranged this music in more classical music, more the Western commercial music way. So I try to combine these two cultures together. And at the Marshall University, I did this performance with interim dean Dr. Wendell Dobbs and Professor Steve Hall. They played the wood flute and Korean traditional the percussion instrument changu, and I also arranged for the piano as well, so that I try to combine the Korean traditional instrument and the Western instrument at the same time. So um, I hope you enjoy this next clip, because this is the first heritage, the musical heritage that the people from the United States did for us. So hope you enjoy this clip.
아리랑 아리랑 아다리요 아리랑 올사 뱃띠어라 문명세계 박달나무 공덕대 방랑이 다나간다 문명세계 박달나무 공덕대 방랑이 다나간다 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 뛰어라 돌아가세 남서로의 고목나무 남아갔지만 속속는가 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 뛰어라 돌아가세
From 19th century, missionaries from United States came to Korea, and they built university, and they built hospitals, and they taught a lot of Korean students, and they taught, and not only like teaching and try to help Korea, they try to teach the like what's the most important value, try to be as a Christian, just help others, love each other, and that missionaries sacrifice impacted the Korea a lot. So right now the South Korea is one of the most educated country, the one of the most greatest value in Korea is education, and we have no doubts that those missionaries' sacrifice and their hard work in Korea impacted this way, and now we have so many great scientists and very smart people who works really hard and give a very huge impact to the all around the world. I believe this is the fruit and this is the result of those missionaries' hard effort from United States. Horace Underwood founded Yonsei University. Yonsei University is one of the most popular and the most famous university in South Korea, and also he worked really hard for the Korean independence from Japan, like Mr. Hulbert did. Henry Appenzeller also founded universities and the churches in Korea, and their daughters also worked really hard for the education in South Korea. So since the Joseon dynasty tried to protect their country for such a long time, they did not open the gate to the other countries. There were numbers of countries who wants to come to the South Korea and have business together, help some of the poor Koreans, but the gate was closed for a very long time. And actually, even these missionaries, they just came in, uh, uh, even though the country was not welcoming. So they came to United Korea, and they hugely impacted the Korean church and also Korean church music as well. Many famous American hymnals are also very famous in Korea too. Amazing Grace, How Great Thou Art. It's one of most famous hymnal and the song, not only for the Christian, for the all Koreans, to celebrate their hard effort and to remembering their sacrifice for the Korea. I would like to sing those two songs in Korean and also in English.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved the wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 나 같은 죄인 살리신 은혜 놀라워 잃었던 생명 찾았고 광명을 얻었네. 나 같은 죄인 살리신 주 은혜 놀라워 잃었던 생명 찾았고 주님의 높고 위대하심을 내 영혼이 찬양하네. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art.
Thank you so much for your time and this great opportunity to share my country's culture and the music to you. I think this is such a privilege and honor to serve and to teach young students at Marshall University in West Virginia. Marshall University is still accepting the students if they are interested in music. So, if you know someone who are hesitating to come to the university but their passion is in music, let them know that we are still accepting online audition. As you can see, there is my email address. So if they're interested, please let them know and to share my email information. I'm very looking forward to meet those students who are interested in voice music. Uh, I think the music can be the great bridge to connect to culture, and I'm very looking forward to serve and help the students in United States, just like the missionaries from the United States did to South Korea 200 years ago.